And welcome to Into the Cypher State, everyone. You are listening to the premier public broadcast of Galactica Network. My handle is citizen42.gala within the Cypher State, but you can call me Dave. And today I'm joined by my regular co-host Cosmos Hoss and Timpi. So I think we're actually waiting for Timpi to come up right now, but hopefully they will be joining us. They're fantastic guys. So we'll let them introduce themselves when they come up.
Yeah, man.
For now,
I was gonna say, super excited for them to stop by, man. Like been messing around, and like me in this space, I'm really for the products, like people that are building actual products that people will use, and not that I don't love DeFi and decentralized finance and everything about it. I get more excited right now for just like actual products, and they have a really good one, and hopefully they get to attend and get up here to speak about it a little bit. But on a personal level, that's kind of been my thing since like the bear markets kind of began over a year ago or so. Is this more about products that just average people can use and benefit from? So that's I'm excited. But go ahead. Sorry about that.
It's fine, Horse. No, I appreciate the sentiment. I really do. It's all about right now. It is about like it's about products and actual innovation, and I think ourselves, Galactica Network and Timpi, are very much aligned in that way. In the innovation regard. So you should definitely give the Timpi profile a follow while we wait for them to come up. So thank you for that, guys. Okay, so I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer before we start. So it's very important to remember that myself and Cosmos Hoss, and indeed any other team members that decide to join us on the panel today, we are your guides to navigating the Cypher State, but we are not your financial advisors. Our guests' opinions are also their own, and nothing said in the space constitutes financial or investment advice. So now we have that out of the way, guys. Welcome along. Thank you very much for joining us. Cosmos Hoss, I don't know if you're still in the mountains or if you are at home comfortable in front of a fire, but welcome, and I'm really glad you're here, mate.
So I live in the mountains, but like the place that I went to was more remote in the mountains. So to answer your question, I'm kind of back to like the mountain civilization. But before I was where there was no cell phone service, so and no SOS. Like I didn't believe that was a thing anymore. Being in 2023, going on 2024, you see these commercials for like Apple, and it's like, oh, I got stuck in a cave and I used SOS. Well, I can tell you one thing. Where I worked at, it didn't work because I had to use it for something and it didn't work. So, but anyways, I'm back to civilization. Glad to be here. Yeah, funny story. I broke down in the middle of nowhere. I mean, when I say the middle of nowhere, I mean the middle of nowhere. And I didn't have one of the tools to get put a spare on, but luckily some nice random human being didn't off me in the middle of nowhere and help me out. So. But yeah, so that was that, and glad to be here. I'm glad to be alive and not be offed by a random stranger in the middle of the mountains. So,
well, yeah, I mean that's always a good day. It's always a good day. Jesus. You're so far out in the sticks that you can't even be hit by satellites, and you're worried about getting hit in the streets. That's that's mountainous. That's a different kind of civilization, isn't it? Okay, so guys, again, if you could do us a massive favor, give us a like and a retweet on the space. It just helps us get more information out to more people. We really enjoy educating people on this space. As much education as possible is the best thing possible in the bear market. So if you can give us a like and a retweet, that'd be super helpful. You can also check out the pin tweet, which allows you to take a look at what we're doing over at Galactica Network. We're building out the fundamentals like infrastructure for decentralized society. This is not SocialFi. This is not SocialFi at all. This is decentralized society. This is not conflating reputation with money. This is actual human reputation. Verifiable humans transacting with actual reputation while allowing them to also have their identity available, keep their privacy, and transact in a compliant manner if they so choose. It's a massive set of innovations, all based on zero-knowledge technology and a very innovative tech stack. It's far too much to go over in one paragraph that I can make everyone understand, but it's something you should check out. So if you can check out galactica.com, check out the pin tweet, and see if you want to get involved and be early in something very special, please do. And indeed, our
I was
special
gonna,
guests.
yeah, I
Sorry,
was gonna
Cosmos,
say
please.
the guest said there'll be about 2 more minutes, but no, man, that's what it's totally about is innovation and being early, and if it's just how it is, man. Like I love being early to things. Maybe that thing doesn't work, but like you're not sitting on the sidelines, not trying to essentially change the world and make it a better place. And that's what I really love about this space. Do I think everything's going to work that's being worked on right now or trying to be worked on right now? Probably not, but I think a lot of it can. And it's cool to be here super early. I mean, I don't know how many active users are in crypto right now. Probably less than 1 million people on planet Earth are like actively doing things in crypto right now. But it's super cool to be so early because we know over time that number is going to keep rising, even in the bear markets and when the economy is not doing well. And to be kind of at the forefront of it, you're essentially everyone in this space right now. Anyone that listens to this is essentially kind of like a tech pioneer because you're early before everyone else gets the green light. You're kind of the ones that they don't know. It's the same thing with people that were like, "Oh, the internet's a scam." There was a lot of people back then too that were partaking in random.com websites and building things, and people are like making fun of them, and you're early, you're an idiot, all this other negatives, naysayers. But a lot of them did well, and some of them are still here building these Web3 applications. So it's cool.
100% Hoss. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got this little theory about that. To be honest, I mean, as far as like um, innovation and what will actually survive and what won't, all this stuff. Like, I kind of liken the adoption of blockchain to a tree. Okay, you've got your roots, which are based in reality. Okay, you've got your roots that are based in real life on and they're based on people like self-sovereign individuals who uphold the network. So they're the decentralized real life roots, and then like people who run nodes, validators, all that kind of thing. And then you've got those people who support this entire interoperable network. We're calling it like the cipher state concept, but essentially it's when it boils down to it, it's essentially interoperability between ecosystems. And when you have that, like you have this interoperable tree wherein like every branch and every leaf leads off to something useful. So you have like Bitcoin in on one leaf, you have Galactica Network on another leaf, you have Timpi on another leaf, you have Cosmos Hoss on another leaf, probably doing something or another, hiding in a mountain. And then you have all these incredible use cases on each leaf, but then the strong leaves, they survive and they stay on the tree. The weak ones, they fall off and they go by the wayside. It's kind of like a Darwinistic approach, I guess. And I think that's pretty much how the interoperable Web3 will end up getting adopted. Is like the pieces that make sense and that make sense for humanity and that people actually end up using, they will survive, and the ones that don't will fall by the wayside. The ones that are unusable, the ones that end up not being usable for, if regulatory compliance and interaction with the real world becomes something that was an absolute need for humanity and people who interact in this space, then that's the stuff that will survive. If pseudonymity and anonymity, private chains, all this stuff is something that is absolutely needed, then that will survive. That's just the way it goes. Um, I would just very much like to stop my monologue right now because we have Timpi. I'd love to know who's behind the profile and welcome you up, guys. We do have Timpi, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I don't think it's a prank. we getting pranked.
I can't take any more heartache.
I know the anticipation, you know what I mean? But no, just to like kind of tidbit off of what you were saying, I agree with that. Like that's just kind of the motto, like only the strongest survive. And what I like about what Galactica's approach is too is that in a world where we would live at where everything is, I don't know, I guess say monitored or you need licenses to do anything, financial activity or whatever, it will be the chains that, are KYC compliant and have a legitimate governance process that is not top down, but it's kind of bottom up. And if you kind of position yourself like that, you're kind of futuristic proof. Sometimes I do get worried about DeFi as a whole, where maybe all the world governments like I don't want to say collude, but collaborate, where they're like, all right, we're only going to allow this activity will only technically be legal if everything is has a license, so to speak. It doesn't matter if it's like DYDX or Uniswap or Osmosis or whatever, and if it's not, then they just deem it not compliant, and anyone that uses it is essentially doing something illegal, even though it's we all know it's kind of your money. You should be able to do whatever the hell you want with it. But we could live in a future like that, and sometimes it does worry me. So like I said before, not that I don't like DeFi. I love DeFi. I'm a tax accountant by heart and finance. I've been in business for 2 decades now. And anyways, like I've been more for so of like actual products, not just financial products, but things that are innovative, or like search engines and indexers and web browsers, and just random
That
products that
major
people.
infrastructure, right? Like those infrastructure layers.
Exactly. And it's just like, because we all know like that's needed, and we see a lot of issues, and hopefully Tempe's up here now, but they can kind of maybe even just tidbit from my point is, we see issues for especially ones that actually care about privacy, and people stealing their data and selling it and prospering off of it. And, all these oligarchs and all this. And we're like, all right, well, we need to, to do something about it. And there has been multiple teams working on it, but I think what they're doing is just even taking that to the next level, because even some of these search engines, they're using like Google's indexers. So even when you're using it, like, yeah, technically might be decentralized, but you're still getting kind of like biased searches. Sometimes if you really went down the rabbit hole on a particular topic or article, like you might have to go look at like the 100th or 150th search. And who the hell is going to do that, right? You're not going to go to like your fifth page after you put a search in. And imagine that might be that might be it. Like that might be what you actually need for like your research, but you get this biased, whether it's like a political thing or geographical thing or a religious thing, whatever the topic may be. And you do get biases even when you do use these like other search engines, and like what Tempe's building out. I'll just take their thunder right now because I don't know if they're having difficulties, but like
I don't
you're
know
gonna
what's going on, but I miss them already.
yeah, you're going to be able to like just get a search that's not biased. It doesn't care about your political agenda or your religious agenda or your financial agenda or whatever. Like you'll actually get it. Hope they're requesting again, so hopefully this works this time. And go ahead. Can you hear us? I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me remove you from speaker and then bring you back up.
I'd just like to remind everyone at this point, if you would like to join us on stage just for a bit of a conversation, a good conversation about people versus AI, about the news, about anything else you want to talk about, please do just request to speak. We're happy to have you at this point. As long as you're not a bot and you're not someone who's just going to troll us. While we wait for Timpy, maybe we just have a little quick discussion on some of the news, and hopefully we can get the guys up because I'm really looking forward to that conversation. Hoss, if maybe you can just give us some moderation on the requests, and we'll see what we get. So I just want to go through like the main one right now is this massive campaign by seemingly U.S. governments and U.S. institutions to conflate crypto with financing terrorism. I don't know if you've seen this about Hoss. Like every single
Oh
news
God,
item,
Elizabeth.
every single one.
Senator Warren, dude. Like, no, it's crazy. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, just go look at who her donors are, and you'll understand why she says things like that. And the funny thing is like, I honestly feel like I deal with I don't even want to say it 'cause it sounds rude, but I deal with a lot of idiots all day long. Not in this space, because I think pretty much one of the brightest humans on planet Earth right now, believe it or not, are kind of in the crypto community, especially right now when it's not all about the price and everything. People just believe in the tech. I find the conversations to be honestly very good. And in fact, I personally enjoy having conversations with complete strangers on Telegram and Discord and Twitter Spaces, more so than in person, because in person some of these people are just they just have no clue and they believe anything. They don't do research. How I was saying about before about like the unbiased, the unbiases when you do searches, because even some people you could tell, okay, yeah, they do a little bit of research, but like if you start to dig into that research, they don't know because they're being told by this like the media or whatever. They're getting their points of view from some media outlet or whatever, as opposed to like unbiased stuff. But no, like she says that like, oh, what, terrorism just began in 2009 or whatever, Bitcoin was invented. Like
God, so
it
dumb, some
didn't.
of these narratives.
Yeah, like just think of it that way, right? Even if you're like a banker or like you don't want crypto, you're just like crypto's evil. But for her to say something like that, she just lose all credibility. Like, why isn't the media going or whomever, right? That she says an article just goes, this is fake news. Like when Trump would say fake news, it is kind of fake news, just from the point of view that even in theory, if she was correct, her point of view, which is not obviously, but her point of view is like, what, terrorism just started when Bitcoin was invented? It didn't exist 10 years ago or when 9/11 happened or anything else. Like, wasn't that the United States dollar? And isn't the United States dollar throughout every crevice on planet Earth? Like,
I
isn't
mean,
that?
not just that. It's not even just that. It's that like there are so many better and easier ways for terrorists to actually fund themselves. Of course,
Yeah, just
crypto is like
it's
it's
just
a pseudonymous and open system. It's a pseudonymous and open financial system. Anyone like who understands anything about game theory or anything else will tell you that an open pseudonymous system will be used for malign purposes in some situations. Okay, but it's a tiny percentage in
yeah,
comparison to like traditional systems.
yeah, like exactly. Like think about it, not even like on that perspective, but like if you were like some drug lord or like just selling drugs or something, you're gonna be like, yeah, man, give me your Bitcoin, or you're gonna be like, I want your dollars. You know what I mean? Like it just makes no sense. Like none of the shit that she says makes any sense. And like I feel like she's an enemy of the people, to be honest with you. The more and more she speaks, the more and more I'm just like, honestly, she doesn't want anyone to prosper in life except for her donors, because it's just like one thing I respect about her is she doesn't like try to hide it. Like you could tell if you like just do any research, like she does not want anyone that's a common person to do anything well in life. And she could sit here and sugarcoat it all she wants, but when she keeps attacking crypto, it's just like Newsom or whatever, the governor that's I think he's like the back runner if like Biden decides not to run, or like they just like say, dude, you can't run anymore because you don't even know your name is. He's like the front runner for the Democratic Party, and he's worried about crypto. It's like, can you worry about San Francisco? Like you can park your car at noon and someone's going to try to rob you, and like there's homeless people everywhere, and people legitimately just taking craps in the street, but you're worried about Bitcoin. Like it's like, come on, bro. Like these people are just weird, man. Honestly, at the end of the day, like I just feel like they're enemies of the people, and I'm not trying to
I
get
would have
political
to
or
agree.
anything.
I would have to
Like
agree.
it's just evil,
The
bro. Like it's just evil nonsense.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, they're just they're of the same ilk as as these massive overarching global institutions who are like saying that you're not allowed to own anything. You just got to put everyone into give everyone the absolute minimum possible for them to survive. Some people will slip below that line, and that's okay. It's a fucking awful. It's a terrible. Pardon my French. It's a terrible way of thinking. I just want to say, sorry guys, we've been very rude to our guests. But I just want to welcome up a couple of people who have come up to join us. We got Abstract, we got Minch, and we got CryptoN8tive. So very, very thankful to have you up on the space, guys. If you have we kind of will have to operate on hands here, if that's okay. So if you have an opinion that you'd like to give, then please just raise your hand, and we'll get you up and we'll get you speaking. CryptoN8tive, please join the conversation. How are you, man?
Oh, well, thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, good to hear from you again. On that topic, I think that narrative of crypto funding terrorism. I mean, I could see that. I think most of us in the crypto space could see that coming before it even hit the news. I mean, these guys will always jump on that bandwagon any chance they can get to, throw a negative connotation over crypto. So I think we could all see that coming. In regards to today's topic, I mean, look, in the last few years, whilst being in crypto and learning about money and finance, I have no trust in mainstream media at all. I mean, I reside in Australia, and I don't even bother watching the news anymore. And I mean, it's a shame. Now I have to really go out and do some research, and I've got a handful of people, literally I can count on one hand, that I trust to get my global news. And it's just been made worse. I mean, this topic today, an example, I was watching a YouTube short on Joe Rogan, an opinion he had on Andrew Tate, and I thought, there is no way he is saying this. And it turns out, when I dug deeper, it was just an AI voice and someone who quite cleverly put it with a video to make it look like it was Joe Rogan. And I think, all of our socials are full of them, but they're not as easy to spot as one might think. And which is why I think today's topic is so relevant, and I'm really, really looking forward to you guys digging into it.
Oh, we are going to dig into it. Don't you worry about that. Like, gosh, it's proving your humanity is just so damn important right now, and in the future, it's going to be even more so. We'll get straight into it, I promise. Abstract, Minch, do you have anything you want to add to the current topic of like this kind of crackdown from the US on well, not really crackdown, but like this conflation of crypto with funding terrorism? Before we move on,
I wouldn't have anything. Abstract, you go first.
I was going to say the same. I don't know. I'm here to talk about AI and human ID. I don't know if I want to get into terrorist funding.
You don't want to fund terrorists? What kind of person are you?
It's kind of funny though, Abstract, if you think about it. That it's just like it didn't exist before Bitcoin was invented. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, anytime I just look at anyone's perspective, I don't care about any topic. As soon as the numbers don't add up to me, you lost me. I don't care what. I don't get into emotion, right? Like, I'm all about facts, and like that's one thing I like about accountants and a lot of developers, because they're good at math and numbers. It's like, if it doesn't add up, right? Like, it's just like automatically you lost me. Even if you have somewhat of a good point of view, or maybe some of it's true, you lost me.
I'm Canadian though. I don't know what's going on down there. You got all these people.
Well, yeah,
powerful positions talking nonsense.
Oh, it's so nonsense. Like, they bring up stuff out of the air, and you just look at who their donors are, and you understand why they hate crypto. But like,
now, what's worse, these humans or some artificial intelligence? Maybe the AI is not so bad.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to be living in a world soon where, like, I think I put out a tweet, really didn't get much traction today, but like, robots are going to be creating robots. So what I mean by that is, like, they're going to be manufacturing them. And I think that, honestly, in my opinion, I see that by like 2040 at the latest. So that's not that far away, where, like, I don't know, robots will be legitimately manufacturing more of them. And it's like, we need things and that can make sure that those models are correct and legitimate. And that's why one of the things I like in this space is a ride chain, because they can actually do that. And, anyone really trying to work on the AI stuff, because it's very important, because it's not going to go backwards. Like, AI has been around for a lot longer than probably any of us have been alive, but it's really just starting to take off here in the last few years. And, it's crazy, but it's exciting at the same time. And, we'll get to the next point here, but I used to watch a lot of movies, and if any like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies with Terminator, and even some old ones with Stallone about the future, it had all kind of AI stuff, and they put these movies out back in like the 70s and early 80s, and a lot of the things that they put in these movies are like kind of coming true now, and it's kind of wild, man, to be a part of all of this. And but yeah, I think humans are way worse than AI, at least for right now it is. So That could change over time because humans can probably manipulate it to be evil too. So we'll see.
Depends who learns from who.
Exactly.
Okay. That's enough. Stop it right now. I want to get my room reset and get people to like and retweet the space. Thank you. Okay, now we can go and talk about AI. Thank you. Okay, guys. So, main topic of the day: human versus artificial identity. Firstly, I want to get some general thoughts from everyone. I kind of want to lay the foundations here, get people's opinions. Where you think AI is, where you think it's going, any general opinions, and then we'll go into some of the more meaty topics. So, Minch, you have your hand up. Welcome to the stage, my friend.
Thank you. I was actually trying to take it down. I was going to jump in on the other topic, but I respect you wanting to move on.
Oh no. If you want to give a quick take on that, that's fine. Just give your take on AI as well after if you want.
I think that the main point I just wanted to make is that your infrastructure, at least in the brief overview of your white paper that I've just had, it at least provides solutions to those problems where if you're KYC'd onto a chain, even if that KYC comes with zero knowledge proofs, you're creating a system of reputation and trust across people. So people's actions are, they have some accountability for what they're doing in a decentralized way. I think that should correct for the all actors in the scene. But at least on the other side of things, speaking to some of the other points, that creating a system where in a blockchain and media and having verifiable credentials back people, then their reputation of the information that they send out is also tested, and we can follow the provenance of what they're sharing so that trust vectors can be re-established, and then these concerns of supporting the right and wrong person can be eliminated.
Oh my goodness, Minch! I really appreciate that take, and thank you very much for taking the time to even skim over our white paper. That's something that too few people bother to do in any circumstance, let alone when they just come up on the Twitter space to talk. That's amazing. Thank you.
I can say at least there is a segue there too, because the same thing exists for the human versus artificial intelligence. So we can get off the prior topic and smoothly transition over.
If there's anything I appreciate more than anything else in the world, it is a smooth transition. So thank you so much for that, man. Abstract, please, you've got your hand up. Go on.
Sure. So I'm going to admit I haven't read the white paper, so I wouldn't mind being educated a little bit if there's time for it. The thing that comes up again and again with any attempt at decentralized identity and that that reputation mark, of course, is Sybil attacks and the ability to influence any sort of ranking system by simply creating additional identities within that ranking system.
Quite right. Well identified.
How is there any possible way of kind of tackling that? Like, I feel like this is as big of a, Bitcoin, with the blockchain, the thing that was solved. Now the name of the problem is escaping me. Something General's problem. Anyways, that was that thing that brought us over the edge, able to solve decentralized consensus. What is that way to get past this roadblock of the Sybil attack, preventing us from truly creating a fair and acceptable ranking system and a trustable digital identity?
You're about to put me on my hobby horse, my friend.
Good luck,
buckle
sir.
Up. Thank you for the question. Really appreciate it. And I'd love to just give a very quick breakdown for everyone listening. For Galactica Network, we are genuinely trying to provide a platform, not just a platform, but a like neutral infrastructure that can host a genuine decentralized society. Like I don't know how many of you are who are familiar with decentralized society concepts, with papers from Vitalik, from Network States, from all of this stuff. But it is tremendously important. It is nothing to do with SocialFi, I promise. It is decentralized society, very different concept. Does not conflate reputation with finance for a start. And I'll get on to the point that you have brought up, Abstract. So Sybil resistance, you have correctly identified, is the primary concern here. Because with any reputation system, you need to make sure that there is an identifiable person behind the account, behind that reputation. So there are a couple of ways of doing it. I think it was Vitalik last year who, I don't know if it might have actually been this year. I think it was actually only a few months ago. No, it was last year, the middle of last year. He created a paper that brought out the concept of like soulbound tokens and all this thing. He actually floated the idea of reputation through a collection of soulbound tokens tied to an account. And that works in a limited way, I would say. So what we are doing is we're taking all the concepts of all these incredible minds that have come before us, and we're trying to package them all together into and put them at the protocol, like the baseline protocol layer, so that everyone can kind of benefit from this baseline tech stack. And that involves for Sybil resistance, basically private compliance. So this intersection of privacy and compliance. So we have what we call guardians, which allow us to speak to the real world. So our chain can basically have documents that can be sent off chain, and notarized proofs can be sent on chain. So you can basically prove almost anything from the real world on Galactica Network. That's the idea. So that doesn't matter if it's KYC. Obviously, it works for KYC. You can get KYC on chain in the form of proofs. So you never actually have your data on chain. You're always transacting with proofs. Obviously, that has massive ramifications for security as well as privacy. And then you can transact with basically either proofs of your identity or proofs of your transaction history in the form of reputation. It just opens up the entire world of reputational transactions. But the Guardians don't just do that either. They can bring on board, say, an educational provider in the real world, a university or something, could notarize a certificate, an educational certificate on chain for you. And then you could join a DAO that only accepts people from that university or who have got that specific degree, or any number of things that are completely social and not financial in nature. So that's kind of how we bootstrap Sybil resistance, is through this private zk-KYC framework that we've built. And then in a more organic and natural sense, once we have like these bootstrapped identities, which are built on this zk-KYC framework, we call them citizens. So like a genuine analog of citizenship for a blockchain. We can then, they basically become what we call a persistent identity. And that is a wallet containing the footprint of who you are. So that is your KYC, any SBTs that you hold. So that could be from any number of protocols on chain, or any number of notarizations from off chain. All of this stuff comes together to form a reputation. That doesn't even have to be on one wallet. We actually prefer a multi-wallet approach, but it's all linked to one human ID based on your ZK KYC. So we can guarantee that you have a person behind an account, which is able to transact in any way they wish with any number of accounts. But each of those accounts has their own reputation. So like you can't really forge reputation in this manner, in this system. So I think I've probably gone on for a bit. The point is that you'll be able to transact with not just your money, but your reputation, and you'll be able to keep your privacy at the same time. So hopefully that kind of answers something. I think I put him to sleep.
Not at all. Processing it. I think I need to see it in action, but I can roughly understand where you're coming from, but I feel like there's somewhere in this play there's squishy humans involved, and I need to have a better understanding of kind of where
there are squishy humans involved in almost everything. I can guarantee you that. You're
Indeed.
Quite right. So I would definitely direct you towards the documentation to get a better idea. I'm in fact not the technical guy. I'm the guy who tries to make this stuff understandable for people.
And then I was gonna say too, what we were referring to with Vitalik's paper. I actually put it in the comment. It's a pretty good read, actually. It's about like 15 pages. Vitalik and a few other people. I read it, I don't know, maybe about a year ago or so. Whenever he first wrote it. Well, it's actually probably older than a year. I should probably reread it again. But no, it's a pretty good read, for sure.
I'll just say that this, again, this is more of a tangent, just talking about Galactica Network. But one of the use cases, the obvious use cases for decentralized private identity is the ability to identify yourself as a human in the face of what will be obviously a tsunami of artificial identities in the digital space. So I'd love to get onto that point. Obviously, Galactica is actually one of these, is a protocol that could help in this regard. But I just want to get some general conversation going regarding artificial identities versus human ones, and artificial intelligence in general, if you want to bring that in. So yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to join in on a kind of funner, lighter side of the topic, but still serious.
Go for it. I'm always up for fun.
I work in the gaming space, and I've spent the better part of 15 years focusing on making sure that the games I build are fun for both humans and bots. And that might sound a little odd, but my belief is that I can't fight it. I don't have this luxury of knowing whether or not someone is a human or a bot. I shouldn't expect that there won't be botting, because if I make a game that's enjoyable, then some will try and find ways either for their own enjoyment to use that as a way of being a nuisance in the game, or especially in the crypto space, they'll use that botting technique to financially gain from the game. So for us, we have to create systems that either empower humans with the same tools that bots would have. We have to create mechanisms that are, that give humans the advantage, problems that give human the advantage. We thought that was CAPTCHA. Right now, I think robots are probably better than humans at CAPTCHAs at this point. But the premise is there.
I fail at CAPTCHAs too often, mate.
Exactly. I don't know when to stop clicking the street light. Does it include the pole? Does it not include the pole? I have no idea.
Bro, that's yeah. I had to say yes to that because I do that shit all the time. I fell all the time. I'm like, come on, man! Like, there's a crosswalk right there. Like,
no. So that's just a line. That's just a line of the crosswalk. It's like a tiny little couple of pixels of that crosswalk, and it doesn't count.
What about the one in the distance? What about the one in the distance? You don't know. So yeah, yes, I agree. We should be finding ways to fight it, and I think there's much more serious topics such as, the AI fakes and misinformation, which are misleading people and probably causing actual harm in the world. But can we create systems in which, you know, humans aren't inherently at a disadvantage in those systems, and both humans and AI can play along at an not even playing field?
That's such a difficult one, isn't it? Because like we can already kind of see that like even just these basic. I mean, I think everyone should understand in the listeners panel. Firstly, that you need to like and retweet the space. I hope you like that segue. But the fact that AI, even at its most fundamental level that it's at now, is starting to outcompete humans in a lot of spaces. Like not just like obviously in data analysis and predictive modeling, all this kind of stuff. It's going to absolutely destroy us. Even now with generative models, like computers could do that, and now with AI even more so. But as like it gets more advanced, it's going to outcompete us socially, and in like and even in the creative arts and things like that, it's going to outcompete us there, which is it's a very difficult line that you're kind of talking about there, abstract. And I agree, it's a really tough one. If you have to, like I say, you have to either like make things. You have to give humans. What do you call it? You have to give them a handicap.
Or provide them the same tools that provide them the AI tools. Let AI be that tool for them to succeed. Let AI be the one to help them identify AI.
Yeah, that works. You know, as long as the tech kind of keeps up with that, and we don't end up with going beyond the generative kind of models and into something far more independent minded.
And I think on the crypto side of things, we always argue not your keys, not your coins. Self-hosted wallets are critical. Keeping funds off exchange unless you're using them is critical. You know, understanding that self-reliance is important, agency is important in this space. I think we need to see people, if we do move towards, you know, using these tools to help ourselves, using AI to help ourselves as humans, including identifying other AI or outsmarting other AI. We have to bring that in-house to ourselves as well. We have to be running our own systems, our own AI, especially if it's, say, you know, helping you with your planning, keeping track of your communications, things of that. These are all, you know,
Absolutely,
sensitive
yeah.
things. So
like these like self-hosted AI. Absolutely. Sorry, Tam, please, if you can make a, if you want to make a quick point. Sorry, I just noticed that you took your self off off mute there. Please do make your point, and then I'd just like to welcome Timpi up because I think they're up here now. I think so. Tam, please.
I'm not sure if my mic's working. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, at least on my end.
Finally, perfect. Hey, thanks. Yeah, I wasn't going to comment. I was just going to mention that Timpi's on board, so we should, let's hear some more.
Perfect. Well, then, in that case, welcome to the stage, Timpi. I hope you've figured out your technical issues. Welcome, and who's behind the profile today?
It's still showing listener on my side.
It's showing speaker on mine.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man, that means I'm not going to be able to hear them. Jeez, oh, man. I think it's, man. All right, whatever.
Our overlord, Elon, is not doing well today. And Timpi, I don't know if anyone else can hear them, but I can't hear them at the moment.
He said he just messaged me and said it's saying it's failed on his side, so he's going to give him a few more minutes. But while we're talking about Elon and guess AI is, to be honest with you, like one of the most, it sounds crazy to say this because I do kind of enjoy driving at times, but I think in the future when everything's all AI driven, I think that's going to be nice. One, there's going to be less deaths, right? Like a substantial amount of people will still be alive because of just the human error, right? Like robots don't get tired. There's eyes. We can only see so much in our car, right? Like you can't see every angle. And you don't, there's just way less chance for error, right? Especially once they get all the technology to the point where it can be all self-driven. To be honest with you, I'm looking forward to that because, like, in the States, I have to go through Chicago at times, and it's just honestly the only time I ever get afraid is driving through there. I just always feel like someone's going to crash into me because I see so many wrecks going through there because people just drive like nuts. And it would be nice where everything's controlled, and you don't have to worry about some guy going 95 on the shoulder of the road and cutting you off just to slam his brakes on it in the middle of traffic, you know. And so I'm looking forward to that aspect of AI. And then, yeah, what you're saying, it's going to be really hard to compete with AI with regarding anything, right? Because even the most brilliant human being doesn't know as much as AI does, even right now. Like I've seen some documentaries where AI is actually learning, you know, training themselves, you know, like any game. It could be any sort of strategic game like chess or, you know, checkers, anything. They like train themselves over time. It's pretty remarkable. And just, yeah, I'm a big fan of AI, to be honest with you, because I think it could like take humans to another dimension that we never even thought was possible. And it's going to be wild to be a part of it, because I know most people in this space are relatively young, and I hope, you know, nothing but great health and you get to live a long time. And the future is going to be super wild. That's all. As long as like humans don't wipe each other out, we have like World War III or something, and everything goes, you know, fine with humans, like it's going to be insane. But I also think that's going to free up humans to do other things that they don't have to do, because if you look around, like we do so many things that like robots or AI can just like do it for you, you know. Like even think about driving, right? Imagine going on like an 8-hour drive. Well, you didn't have to drive the whole time, and you could spend 8 hours like studying or doing something while you're going from point A to point B. It could be more, you know, it's going to be wild. It's all because of tech, you know. So it's great, in my opinion.
I think AI is I think more on the human side of things, I guess. I think one of the things we do at Galactica Network is that we are very focused on the human, and on what's real and what has this like ineffable thing that is humanity. So like trying to actually combat this, trying to compete with AI in this way. I'm not sure that it's. I think it's a losing game. Is kind of what I'm trying to get to the point of. I guess it's one of these things that, you know, it's designed to exponentially learn. We are not designed to exponentially learn. We are designed to learn, and we are designed to consider slowly, and with effort and passion, eventually get to the result and the learning that we're after. Whereas AI is clean and clinical, and it will, you know, it will exponentially learn based on whatever the hell is given it to it, or whatever it learns from, whatever models it learns from. So I think the trying to preserve people's ability to identify as a genuine human is one of the more valuable things that you can do in this in either Web3 or any other space at this moment. Is just that identification as a genuine human is very important. Minch, you have your hand up, please.
Yeah, I wanted to speak to the emergence of AI as being a contribution to quality of life for I guess everyone across the globe, and it's undeniable the amount of benefits that AI will contribute. But there is a concern from an
Oh,
sorry, it's just
I think that was
myself.
I think that was Timpi coming off mic. Minch, please continue your point, and then we'll go to Timpi if they can speak now.
Sure. There is a concern that from an economics point of view, that the access to resources, or the capital, so as AI begins to take over roles that humans take, and that's part of their livelihoods, we are, while yes, there is a deliverance of quality of life, and we can reinvest our time elsewhere, it's the owners of these systems that will reap all the benefits. So they no longer have to pay all these people. So all the funds, for the equal amount of efficiency gained, they more efficiently gain profit and more power. So we need to create systems that will correct for that. And that's a question which I would put to you, who are developing a decentralized society. What are your responses?
That is a fantastic question. Wow. Yeah, that's an amazing question. So you have You have sorry, I'm just collecting my thoughts on that one. I do love a good question. When you have displacement of people, and you have displacement of their skills, and you end up in a situation where people are working less and doing more of the stuff that becomes valuable in an AI saturated environment. So stuff that becomes valuable in an AI saturated environment is obviously the human, because it becomes more scarce. We know the basic economics of things. When something's more scarce, it's more valuable, and in this case, it's humans. It's human passion. It's human creativity. It's that initial spark of creativity that the AI can't have. That's one of the few things AI can't have, is like that initial the intent, not even the spark. An AI can pretend having an idea. In the more advanced models, they certainly can, but they don't have any intent behind their ideas, and that's the human intent. So I think that with regards to people having UBI, I think that is an important aspect, and that's something that we are offering on our protocol, along with our citizenship to our protocol, because it's one of those fundamental pieces of the puzzle that has to be there for humans. But I think with oh my goodness, sorry, I think you managed to overload my brain, Minch. I do apologize. Can you just repeat that last part of the question for me, the fundamental part?
I think you actually led yourself there in the end, which I was kind of, I guess you call that a Dorothy Dixer. I saw that you had UBI written in your documentation, so I wanted you to at least speak to the vision of that. Yeah, the basic point is, how can you correct for people's lack of access to capital control and the thinning or the monopolization of market structures?
I got you. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the point. You in order to correct for it, you create a human system, and that's kind of what Galactica is building, is a very much a human system. One of the questions you could ask is, what would something like, obviously we're building neutral infrastructure. That's kind of the prerequisite for building a digital society, or anything that even resembles a digital society, is that the infrastructure itself has to be relatively neutral. Otherwise, if it's biased in any way, shape, or form, then you end up with no better than what we already have. I think one question that could be asked is, what would artificial intelligence built upon neutral infrastructure like a decentralized blockchain look like? What effect would that have when it doesn't have those controls on it? Would be something that I would love to get the opinions of the audience. But as far as Galactica goes, we are building a human-centric system in which we have human citizens. We don't have some tacked on AI narrative right now. There are like a variety of use cases that do involve AI, but it's not like one of our primary use cases. Our primary one is of human value, and maybe making sure that humans remain identifiable, remain valuable, and can prove that value and their humanity on chain.
Well, with further ado, you threw the word bias out, so I mean we finally have Gareth up from.
We do.
Go ahead and do your thing. Man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you did give me the perfect segue into what we're doing at Timpi. Apologize for taking a while to get onto the call. Had some technical challenges and scheduling, but really interesting to hear everything that you guys are talking about. And you touched up on a point there around the having a neutral infrastructure without bias. And that's one of the big challenges that we face in the AI industry is facing going forward. how are these AIs being trained? What is the data being used, and how can we trust it? Now, people know Timpi as a search engine, but actually the search engine is just a service that we provide as well as others. We also have our own generative AI model, but our actual product is our index, and we've built the 5th largest index in the world. There are actually only 4 other large web scale indexes in the world, and they're controlled by Bing, Google, Yandex, and Baidu. They're all centralized, and they really operate within a black box and control their data, and they absolutely introduce biases into that data in terms of their political agendas and their commercial partnerships. And so there really isn't the availability right now for people who are developing AI products to, first of all, access web scale data, because those indexes just aren't available as structured data sets to be used effectively. But also it's you can't trust it, because, you know, as we all know, and there's loads of more and more information coming out into the public now about how they create biases within their data. So we have created the 5th largest web scale index in the world. It's built on a decentralized architecture, and we're utilizing the blockchain governance to ensure that there's check marks in place to ensure that it continues to be unbiased. So we're really we're getting a lot of traction now with AI developers who want to utilize our index, because ultimately we are and will be, as our awareness grows, the only source of unbiased data to train these AIs.
That's absolutely incredible.
That's absolutely incredible.
I think I'm reverberating through your mic, Timpi.
Yeah, I put his mic off. For some reason, it's
thanks.
His audio, but yeah, that was. By the way, I just wanted to throw this out there. I'm really enjoying this panel and conversation. Like, it's really good, to be honest. Not that the other ones aren't good, but this is like real chill, to be honest with you. I'm enjoying it. But anyways, carry on.
Me too. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the most critical things beyond decentralization and all the other amazing properties of blockchain. I think that ability to have viable neutral infrastructure is probably the most important aspect. Not just for the thing about what we've been doing so far for the last 15 years or so in blockchain has been as this amazing decentralized permissionless financial system, which is great, and it's absolutely amazing what it does. However, those financially based systems are inherently biased through the finance part, and money talks. But there's a hell of a lot of value in neutral information, especially in this day and age where we have such a terrible amount of misinformation. And if artificial intelligence is going to be worth something to us, it can't be trained, like Timpi says, it can't be trained on biased data sets. That's just asking for trouble in the future. So that's absolutely amazing. Well done. Hoss, do you want to add on it?
Yeah, man, that's totally, yeah. I mean, it's dangerous to have biased data, and just in general, not even just AI, but just for a human perspective. Most people want shortcuts, so now people use Google. They search something and then they get whatever it wants them to tell them. And like I was saying earlier, Tempe wasn't here. Sometimes if you go to even just the 7th or 8th thing in that particular search, you may find a gem, but no one's going to do it. They're just going to get to the first 1 or 2 things that pop up. And like Gareth was just, saying, it's all manipulated because of finance, they're like, hey, we want ours to be at the top. So it's really tough, and I was saying earlier, you can have search engines and all that, but if they're using those indexers, like, what's the point? You need your own that is unbiased, and that's why I'm super excited for the product for people, and it's something that I will openly promote to people that are in this space, not in this space, and everything else, because in my real job in real life, like, I deal with people that tend to be on the older side of things for just in general, and I'll be like, oh, they would rather call and wait to get a hold of me, and instead of just like searching something, and I'll be like, you could just search for that, and some of the people they're legit, like, not all older people are not with it, they'll be like, oh, they're gonna give me some bullshit on there about something, they'll say stuff like that, and I'm like thinking in the back of my head, like, you're not wrong, like, you're really not wrong, and so it's really exciting to say, oh yeah, like, instead of just Google it, I'll be like, just Tempe it, and then they'll get actual things, and maybe they'll wake their mind up to something else that they didn't know about before, because they're always searching something that may just be some sort of political opinion, and they don't think about it from the other perspective. And for the most part, most people in this industry, in this space, whether community devs or whomever, like, it seems like they have a wider perspective of topics. And maybe you don't agree with the other person all the times, but like, it seems like they're open-minded. And, when tech became kind of big, it seemed like, well, I don't want to blame Facebook, but that to me was kind of the start of the end, when it came to people just put you, like, you're in this shoebox, and if you think this way, this is exactly how you are as a human being. It's like that, and that honestly is the fault of tech. But like, we kind of need to get it back to where it is unbiased, and people, because you vote this way or this or that. Like, no, it's not how everyone is. Like, I honestly feel most human beings. Like, I like to think of like the political spectrum and just like the religious perspective and everything else. Like, if you put most human beings on like a soccer field or a football field, whatever you want to call it, they meet at the 50. They meet at the center point of the field. They're not all on one side or like far on the other side, and I'm excited for that, man, because tech has been abused, really primarily when tech became what it was, like in the early 2000s, and it's getting worse and worse. But crypto's the solution, and it really, it truly is on the financial
It's a
side.
special community
Really
too.
is. It really is.
Like,
Like, it is special. I'd rather be talking to, like I said earlier, I'd rather be talking to complete strangers in the crypto world. And for the most part, not everyone. I have some intelligent, open-minded people that I speak to, but for the most part, it's really hard to find that in outside of crypto. It
but
really
you know
is.
what? I think this space really attracts like self-assured people, like genuine self-assured people who are all self-improvers. Like, regardless of why you're here, whether you're here for like the financial PvP and and getting your gains, whether you're here for the community aspect, based on like your own ideals or maybe the founding ideals of the space, or whether you're here as a builder. Every single type of person here is here for some sort of personal growth, and that's rare to find in almost any space. Like, that personal growth mindset in almost everyone, it's a very special thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally true, right? Like, everyone that's in here, at the end of the day, yeah, maybe some people they want financial freedom, and I think that's a legitimate thing. I think we all deserve that, and maybe this space gives us to it, maybe it doesn't. But we also just want freedom of choice, freedom of words. Just basically, crypto, in my opinion, is like the ultimate sign of freedom. You're free to choose what ecosystem you go to, what crypto token you buy, what NFT you like, what community is you like, because it's real easy to just go from one place to the other. And we were talking about AI earlier. What do you think is going to power AI? What's going to pay, the payment processing? It's going to be crypto. Like, I don't know if it's Bitcoin or whatever it is, but crypto, robots are going to pay each other in crypto. Like, that's just the way it is. They're not going to be some United States dollar or like the franc or something. Like, it's going to be crypto. So that's just the bullish case there. But no, man, it's going to be super excited. And like I said earlier, I'm just all about products, like teams that are building products that like humans can benefit off of. one way or another. You know, like just something that like Susie will use that can actually improve her life, and not some, you know, not that I don't like degenin and like perps and all this other stuff, but like most normal human beings are not going to want to do anything in DeFi. They're just going to want to buy stuff and do things, and I'm excited for people that are doing that. So
I don't know, that sounds like you're giving very special treatment to Susie to me. But you know, everyone deserves freedom, not just Susie's. Everyone. Susie's quite nice, but I'm sure you deserve freedom too. Guys, can you please just do us all a favor? If you're enjoying the conversation, if you're enjoying the education, please give us a like and a retweet on the space. Trev, I noticed you were up on the speaker panel and you've dropped down now. I do apologize. We tend to have want to get our takes out there. If you want to come back up and speak, you're more than welcome, friend. You're more than welcome to. Just a request again. That goes for anyone in the listener panel right now as well. If you want to come up and speak, we certainly do not bite. We're not here for any hardcore speech.
I'm gonna bring Trev up. Gareth, like a lot of this is about AI, and I know that you guys have AI Wilson. If you wanted to touch on how that AI is going to benefit a person when they do a particular search, like will they get more information? What's the prerogative and goal with that as an end user?
Yeah. Just before I moved on there, I wanted to touch on a point of something you said there while you were talking, is about how people are having access to information, and when we're showing what we're doing with Timpi, with the search engine and Wilson, our generative AI, like we're blowing people's minds really with giving them the understanding that they've actually never had access to neutral data before, and actually what that means, right? And when we look back at the original conception of the internet, right, Tim Berners-Lee, he wanted it to be used for freedom of access to information and sharing, and free from that commercial control. But what's happened over time is that it's been abused by big tech and commercialized and siloed off the data, and that's really what we're opening this up to, right? And then when we look at how the importance of that for AI, it's critical that we get this solution in place, so that people can access the trusted, unbiased, and neutral data before it goes down the route of the centralized control of big techs again. And that's really what we're able to open up. So when that comes to Wilson, then we can't say that our generative AI is biased, right? So all AIs have biases in the way they're trained. Like it's impossible to have an unbiased generative AI. But what we can say is that it's trained on unbiased data. Now, what we're doing with Wilson is it's directly tapping into our index and is trained on our index of unbiased information. So that is what we can offer and guarantee people, that it's being trained on unmanipulated, unbiased, and neutral information. Now, what's really cool is that because we have our own index and we're able to utilize that, then we're going to be able to update the training of Wilson on a near real-time basis, so that when there's updates from the website that come through, it updates our index. And then within 24 hours, we're pretty sure we can get it to 24 hours. We think we can do it a lot less than that. Then people will be able to actually reference that updated information on the web. The closest competitor to that in terms of speed is Bing, who update and train their AI every 3 months. And then I think ChatGPT does it every 6 months, or maybe they're even a year. So
but that doesn't really put it in the same ballpark. I'm good
exactly.
at math.
Yeah, quite. And so for us, it's all about creating this environment that's giving people not only the unbiased neutral information, but also being able to have access to it. And so, yeah, like the having access to that unbiased information through our generative AI in a quick at a speed that's useful, we're faster by a factor of thousands compared to any of the competitors on there at the moment. Now, another use case for Wilson is that so Wilson is powered by one of our decentralized nodes called Synaptron, and it will also be able to be trained through our decentralized node network as well. And so what this means is that we can open it up to other businesses, organizations, individuals, influencers to be able to train their own AI, not only utilizing our index, which will be updated faster than any other, but also provide the ability for them to customize it with additional information. So, for example, we're getting a lot of requests from influencers right now who are saying, right, how do we then train Wilson to speak like us, right? And so that we can offer that as a service to our followers. We're having businesses contacting us saying, how can we train it further on our products and information as a customer service chatbot. And that's being done already, right? But what we're able to do is train it in a decentralized way. And also, because we're tapping into our index, it will be updated on any updates that those organizations or influencers release onto their websites or their online content. So it's not only training it once, it's constantly keeping up to date with new information that's being released on the web.
That's super innovative and kind of scary in a way. But absolutely amazing. Sorry, I just wanted to jump over very quickly. Firstly, guys, please like and retweet the space as usual. But secondly, Trev, I've made you wait too long, my friend. Do you have a take you want to make, or if you just want to say hello, that's fine too.
No, you're good. I actually accidentally requested this because I saw Haas and some of my friends in here, so I figured I'd pop in and say hi because I've been under a rock for God knows how long.
Hey, we all like it under rocks. Cosmos lives on a rock.
Oh man, Cosmos lives on a bunch of little islands, is what it is. That's a theme for another day. But I think what really don't laugh at that, Haas. This is our backyard here, but we know. What really resonated with me is you guys were talking about like the kind of the promise of this open internet, and in terms of an ecosystem, being able to like different things or engage in different ways in a way that you're not really judged for things, right? And also kind of the issues that are kind of prevalent because of how data is really controlled and marketing is controlled and everything is controlled in current like Web 2 right now, so, which makes decentralized stuff like what Timpi is doing really, really important. But what really, really is important for me, and listening to what you, Haas, you were saying as well, is kind of pluralism in a general sense, where it's okay to like Ethereum, it's okay to like Bitcoin, it's okay to, like DeFi and be chasing financial gain. It's okay to just engage in NFTs because it's fun, right? So that's really what I was thinking about. It's like we have this huge promise of like what it can be, yet we spend a lot of time fighting each other. So I don't really have a take on it other than, we should stop and focus on building our own shit rather than trying to PvP a whole lot. But that was just a general thought I had when I was listening to Haas kind of do Haas-like things up here. So I don't know much about Timpi, but I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Like it's like something that I'll be telling people about. Yeah, because did you hear me earlier talking about like I deal with older people and I'll try to get them to use because like a search engine. They're like, I'm not going to use that crap. Like it's a bunch of bullshit. I'm like, and when they say that, I laugh, I chuckle, but I'm like, in all seriousness, just type this number in, and the form will pull up right from our website because. Trying to get a boomer to go to a website and search it and figure it'll take a half hour. I'm just like use a search engine, but no, they make good points about, it's just a bunch of bullshit because it really is like, you have to do some digging if you use a search engine and to find something that's not crap. They're trying to push some nonsense on you. You know what I mean? So, but nah, man, glad you stopped by. I hope all is well, man. Just keep doing your thing. I appreciate everyone working in the space and trying to make it a better place because at the end of the day, like, I feel like this is it for people, man. Like, if we don't get the internet right and bring more privacy and freedom to people, man, I don't know. I don't want to live in a world like that where it's just like a nation. It's just like a police state. You can't search things. You can't say anything, remotely confrontational without losing whatever your job, hell, maybe your life, and it's just not the way the world was intended to be. And it's sad whenever you live in a place and you gotta use a VPN or something just to go on the internet and go search things. And crypto is a solution of many, not just the monetary side of things. So I'm excited for products that are helping give rights to humans. Really, to be honest with you.
100% Hoss. And Trev, that was an amazing take there. To be honest, like for someone who only came up here to say hi, that was a great take. And I like to consider like the World Economic Forum and their take on things as like the counterpoint to crypto and like the fight we're trying to fight here. If people like if these overarching institutions, the governments, all this stuff get their way, then people will have the right to exist. If we maintain our course and maintain our ethos and just continue on building our unstoppable technologies, we will make sure that people and ourselves, but mostly future generations, will maintain the right to live rather than just exist. So yeah, that was actually a very, very poignant take. I liked it. Sorry, you have your hand up, mate, please.
Yeah, that was almost poetic. You should write poetry. I want to touch on Haas's point about the boomers not wanting to use tech, because I kind of think about this problem when it comes to crypto and blockchain, right? And we tackle these friction with things like account abstraction or sharded keys or you name it, right? Or gasless transactions, for wallets. For gaming and stuff like that, right? So Haas, is it the builders of the tech that have failed the boomers, or is it the boomers that are failing to adopt the tech?
I think I mean, if I had to give you like the right answer, it would be a little bit of both. But I also think it gets overwhelming really quickly for them. I deal with it all day long with work because I work in IT, and it's basically just a lot of times it's just customer service stuff, and they get so overwhelmed. And I don't know if it's like the fear. Again, everything's fear mongering, so they probably hear on the news like, "Oh my God, someone got hacked and they got held ransom," and they'll be doing things and they don't want to. They're scared to, like, I don't know. They think they're gonna like blow the world up or something on their computer. And I'm like, no, calm down. Everything's all right. I try to explain to them and just think of it as like a calculator, or right now this is like an application, but it's just in front of you. Like, you just got to read the question, fill it out, just like stuff like that sometimes. But in this space, I mean, yeah, I mean, we obviously need we need that because Sonny made a good point. I was listening to a space yesterday or the day before with him and like Neutron and a couple other people, and maybe it was Lavana and some other teams. But he was comparing like the Web3 with just like Binance or Coinbase or whatever. And it's like when you do a trade or anything on there, you just click OK, and then it does the trade. You don't have to accept like gas fees and accept this and accept that. The only time they really ask you anything is whenever you're trying to withdraw, just to make sure like the 2-step verification will pop up. And I do kind of tend to agree with his point that it needs to get like that in this space because it's really, it's just annoying, right? Like like for example, I don't know, this might just be a Solidity thing, and it's not really a thing in IBC and with Cosmosm, but you go to a, like, say, Pancake Swap, and you want to do a swap, you have to like accept that token and pay a fee just to accept that currency. Then you got to accept the other currency. Then you got to, like, there's like 5 things just to make a swap, and you get fees for all of it. And I just say to myself, with your question there, like, that's absolutely the devs. Just not even just with boomers, just everyone. Like, who the hell wants to do that? Like, I just want to swap this token for that token and give me one. Do I mean to do this? Yes. And I'll just give it to me and leave me alone. Not like 16 transactions. And Web 2, I don't know, man. Like, I think applications are good. Like, I feel like a lot of boomers use apps, but when it comes to like research and data and I don't know, maybe YouTube, like, they just don't want to use stuff like that for some reason.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. And then Timpi, you guys are, it's really innovative. Like, I'm literally just looking at all your stuff. Like, is this something that you guys are tackling, and is there like a specific way that you found it kind of resonates with the maybe non so technically savvy, or is it a non-factor?
So you mean in terms of, yeah, opening up the services to like general public non-blockchain educated people? Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So we are we don't consider ourselves a blockchain first business. We're a technology business that utilizes an array of different technologies where it fits, right, for the best use case. Ultimately, the search engine is open to the world, right? And we want everyone to be using it. Now, there are some features and benefits of engaging with the blockchain, but we're providing solutions where that's not exclusive for you to understand blockchain. And so we're doing things like, so advertising, right? If you want to advertise on Timpi, there's benefits if you have a wallet and you pay in our native token. But if you want to pay in fiat, you can pay in fiat. And then actually part of the revenue that we get from fiat, we will be converting back into purchasing the token and feeding it back into the economics of the token ecosystem. Otherwise, we're looking at it is that we have a dashboard, a customizable dashboard, which has a lot of features, and I'd love to talk about that more at some point as well. But ultimately, it's a customizable dashboard as an entry point into our search engine. And in order to have that dashboard, you purchase a domain, and that domain is held by an NFT. Now, but as I said, we don't want to restrict that to people who only know how to purchase NFTs. And so we will be developing a platform where all the blockchain happens in the background, right? So that people can open up an account, and then we have the wallet creation in the background, and they'll purchase access, but we will then create an NFT and hold it within their wallet. So we're really removing all the barriers in terms of knowledge that people would need to have those advantages of operating on blockchain. But then if you did have the knowledge and wanted to participate with the blockchain technology, then there's advantages to do so. But yeah, we are removing all barriers to entry for a non-blockchain user. And I think that's important because, we've had in the past a situation with the blockchain community where it's, there's been this feeling that in order for blockchain to succeed in the world, we have to be blockchain purists, right? And it has to be only that way. But I personally disagree with that approach. Because we want to bring awareness to blockchain and bring awareness to people on the beautiful technology that it is. And for that to happen, we need to merge traditional ways of operating and doing business with the blockchain. and that's what our approach is with what we're doing at Timpi.
I think personally that's a wonderful approach. We are.
I hope that answered your question.
I think, like I say, I think we are doing things to for self-sovereign individuals. Like a lot of people are building for self-sovereign individuals, but the thing is, most people are not going to be onboarded that way. So I think you're doing it in an absolutely incredibly pragmatic way, in which you don't need to onboard unless you want to onboard as a self-sovereign individual. You can use the service as just a normal person, and then onboard as a self-sovereign individual, or use it in the blockchain way, if you so wish. That's a very good onboarding process. I like that. That's impressive. And as far as what you were saying earlier, Trev, you were saying that who failed, the boomers or the technologists who are trying to cause adoption, I guess. I would probably argue that no one failed. I would just say that, like some people would say that, we've been building this kind of technology, like maybe seriously, like in the way that most people see it now, for the last 15 to 18 years, right? But it's taken that long to get to this point, because what we're trying to achieve is so much greater in scope than what came before. So, like, you can think of even the internet, right? The advent of the internet. It's essentially still just communication, right? It's two-way communication. And that's, it's increased massively in speed, in bandwidth, in capability, massively over time. But it is still essentially just communication. What blockchain and crypto in general is trying to solve is the people problem, is the ownership, the ability to actually host human beings, their assets, their data, and actually bring that into the digital space in a very real sense, so that people can genuinely interact as themselves in the digital space, rather than just accessing it through a private company, a centralized service, or any other means of abstraction. You can actually interact as yourself, and that's trying to model humanity or society in a digital way. It just takes this long to do. So I don't think anyone's particularly failed on the adoption curve here. I think it's just taking a lot longer than most people thought it would, but it's taking the right amount of time. And I think like the creation of this interoperable Web3 is well worth the wait, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. It's why we're all here, right? Like, we've been waiting, and we see it. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe it takes longer than we hope and think of, but we see it, man. Like, and just knowing like economics and policies and governmental background and accounting and finance, that there really isn't any other solution out there, man. Like, I just think the people pulling all the strings right now throughout the world, they tend to be boomers, man, and like they're just holding on. They, a lot of humans, even younger people, they don't like change, and the internet has been the most disruptive thing that humans had to deal with, and then we're like taking it to another level, right? Getting rid of all the corruption and the intermediaries and everything else, and it scares the shit out of people, because there's been literally families and families of generations that have benefited from just, I don't want to say corruption, but just like rules that are just so bent towards them, and we all know this is a rule-based system, where really, I mean, yeah, it's always going to benefit people at the very top a little bit, but that curve of that curve is so minuscule now compared to what it was before. And when you see, politicians lobbying against crypto, automatically you should just know who's their donors and who's giving them money and what they're doing. And, these are the same people that make, $100,000 a year, but yet their net worth is like, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. So like, you do the math. And again, I don't care what person it is, if you're going to have a debate and an argument about something that you're just giving kind of like a half glass statement, and you're not actually using numbers, like the whole thing we spoke about earlier about the 2000, cryptos for, to help fund terrorists. And it's like, well, it's only been out since 2009, really. No one used it, right? Like no one used it. It took years. And it's like, hasn't that been going around for a lot longer than 2009? So like right there, you lost me. And it worries people, right? But one thing we all know as humans, at least it hasn't been developed yet, is we're like we all going to die at some point, right? So like all these people holding on for power, they're all at the latter parts of their life, so eventually they pass, and then the younger generation, it's a fact, like they're born with technology. Like kids now, they're considered iPad babies, right? Because they're always on an iPad, and they're already kind of conditioned. Like I don't know, billions of people probably played Fortnite, so like they use V-Bucks, and so like they've technically been using a digital currency this entire time. So like that transition period really won't be difficult for younger people. It's just the people in power that's kind of like controlling everything. It might take longer than we think, but I do think there's plenty of people in power that have a little bit more business acumen and sense and smarts, that you just gotta have to do your research and find those people. And in my opinion, regardless of their political agenda, to me, money and policies and the economy is always my top point, and I think it should be, because without having like an actual foundation and an economy, and it works for most people, like all your feelings won't matter anyways, right? Like, not that your feelings shouldn't matter, they should matter. And I'm not saying, well, your points of view about whatever your stance is it doesn't have merit. But to me, like, none of that matters if everything goes to shit. So like, find people that are actually trying to like balance a budget, maintain a budget, be real fruit, like not just blowing money and printing your wealth to dilution. Because whenever governments print money, really what that is at the end of the day, that's really nothing less than time theft. Because you have to, all of us right now, we have to work whatever how many hours to make whatever we make. So that's our time on planet Earth that we're given. And like when people print more of it, really they're just making you work more and give more of your time for less. Like the last, I don't know, like last 4 years or so now, like nothing has improved with the prices. Like everything has went up substantially in America, and I'm sure even worse in other parts of the world. Like your gas goes up, your oil, like everything's going up, and our pay's not going up. And what is that from? It's from bad policy. So we need to we need people in there, whether you think they're a jerk or an asshole or bad person, you don't want to have a drink with them, as long as that person knows like how to run a business and an economy. Like that's, to me, it should be the most pressing point. Because that buys us time in this space, and we're not just so under attack like about everything. Because it's like everything that people are doing in this space, for the most part, has been with good intentions. Now, people that use the technology for like a third party, they're the ones that have been doing things like corrupted, like FTX and all that. But has nothing to do with the technology. So I just am hopeful and appreciative of all the people that are working and fighting back. And like, don't just think crypto is the end all, though. Like, you need to like balance your life. You need to and not only that, you need to like, voting does kind of matter. Like you need to like find people that kind of have the same thought process as you, that are trying to fight this machine that's been going on for thousands of years and has been screwing 99.5% of the population. So let's like kind of get that number a little bit narrowed there. And I think crypto does offer that to all of us. So
that was an absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spin there, man. Absolutely wonderful. And as far as the previous point, in real life, whatever you're doing, always, I find it very useful, at least, to ask the question, what is the worst possible reason that the person opposite me could have for doing what they're doing? Try and figure out where the incentives could lie. Obviously, in blockchain, you don't have to worry about it because we're governed by code and we know what's going to happen. But in real life, make sure you double check the incentives of everyone around you and make sure they align with your own. It's a very scary world out there when we're talking about that kind of thing. Okay, guys. Well, I don't know what actually happened to Timpi. I think we lost them again. I would just like to invite everyone because I'm thinking that it's probably a good time to start winding down now. But I would just very much like to remind everyone that you should follow the Timpi official account that's down in the listener panel. They are building out some fantastic neutral infrastructure that seems to be something that I would like to take part in and use. So I think you should definitely check it out and give them a follow and see what they're up to. The availability of neutral data is rare, very rare in this day and age. So make sure you check them out. Perhaps we can just get some final thoughts from the guys up on the speaker panel right now before we get this thing out the door. So we have Minch. I don't know if you just want to say goodbye or if you have any final thoughts, Minch, but you're welcome to your words.
I don't think I need to add anything else. I think it's been a great conversation, and thanks for having me.
Oh, well, very happy to have you, mate. Very happy. Trev, same question, my friend. It's good to have you up.
Yeah, it's good to not be MIA anymore. Thanks for having me, Haas. I mean, you and I talk pretty regularly. But no, it's a cool space. Glad I opened my phone and hopped in.
I'm glad you decided to, man. I hope all's well. Take care, everyone. I mean, I already just went on like a 10-minute speech there, so I'm good. I'm good to end it. I just appreciate all of you, man. Seriously, keep improving and doing your thing. That's all we can do at the end of the day, you know. I appreciate it, y'all.
Honestly, Hoss, I think half the people in this room are here for your monologues. I really do. I think everyone enjoys them. I don't think anyone dislikes them, so don't worry about it. I love it. You always have some really cool insight within that you really do. So don't ever step away from that.
Yeah, man. That's just my style. Just speak from the heart and experiences and just reality. You know what I mean? That's all we could do. And I think I have experience now, like just in random topics but like I really do feel like crypto is like kind of the end all. And I'm not just saying that because I'm saying it. Like I just like I think about things and I'm like, is there any other solutions to fix what's going on? Like there really isn't. Like there's no accountability, and you can't trust humans to have. Like there are a lot of, I like to think of myself as a good human, but like how many are out there that like really would get, if you just accidentally sent them a Bitcoin, they would send it back to you. Like, I don't know how many people there are out there like that. I know I would be like that because I would feel like if I didn't do that, something bad is going to happen to me. That's just the way I feel. But I think the people in power they lost that, man. Like I think all of them at one point, right, when they're younger, they're like, man, I'm going to run for office. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I want to change the world. And then it's just the lobbyist money just got in the way and just corrupted the shit out of all of them. And it's really hard to find one that's like actually wants to help us out. The people that are just like happy at the end of the month that they can have like $20 to order a pizza. You know what I mean? Like we're getting the ones that get screwed over and over, and we just want to chill and have a good time. Like is that all? That's just like all we ask for. Right. And crypto is like it, man. Like it really is. And I hope it works. I think it's going to work. And if not, then I guess it doesn't matter anyways, really, because there's no other solutions. It's just there really isn't. And it's kind of sad that we're at that point, but it is what it is. And we just got to keep doing our thing and making this place better, because that's just how it is. That's just mic drop and, have a good night. That's all I could say.
I love it. I love it. I've invited up Matt Arnold up to the speaker panel just because you have Cosmos in your name. I assume that you just want to say goodbye or you just want to say hello or something. I'm happy to hear it because I'm in a very good mood. So please, what do you got to say, Matt? Good talk. Good talk. All right, then. Well, I've absolutely adored this space, guys. I've really appreciated everyone who's come up and spoken with us. I really appreciate the listeners. If everyone could do me a big favor, jump down into the comment section, give us a like and a retweet on the space. It really helps us get the recording out, get the education to more people. We try and host, obviously, you are listening to Into the Cyberstate. It is a Galactica.com branded podcast. However, we like to give, again, neutral, hopefully valuable information and education on these spaces with people we bring up, with hosts. It's all about teaching people. It's all about providing value. So if you can give us a like and a retweet, we'd really appreciate it. Check out the pinned tweet if you want to get involved with Galactica Network and what we're doing. You can become right now a Sentinel, which is basically a founding ambassador of the protocol. You will be able to earn your citizenships with no money involved, just your social contributions leading towards gaining your citizenship, which means a UBI. So that's a guaranteed income. That's governance. That's governance access. That's validation access. That's so much stuff. It's too much to list. But just check out the pinned tweet and see if there's any value.
I don't know
there
whether
for you.
I've been rugged. Is anyone still there? I can't hear anything.
We got you.
I can hear you. I think Matt is having technical issues. I would play elevator music if I had it loaded up, but I don't, unfortunately. Matt, are you here? Or are you not? You're not. Okay, cool. So there is going to be a this is a weekly space. You'll find us here every Thursday at 8 o'clock UTC, and we would very much appreciate your presence on the next one if you can make it. Again, please just drop your likes and retweets on the way out, and thank you very much, everyone, for listening to Into the Cyberstate. We will see you next week. We love you very much. Thank you.